Hello, today we're going to be going over the 2023 Grand Villa 42 FLDL. And we're going to be basically starting kind of up front here. Basically, you're going to have your manual crank here. This is just basically when you're going to be leveling the camper. This is actually considered to be a park model, so this is not designed to actually be getting towed places. So basically, once it gets to its destinational spot, you're going to want to make sure you're level from side to side first, because you may have to put blocks underneath one side or whatnot. But then let's use that vehicle to roll onto those blocks. Then once you're done for that, you unhook from the tow vehicle, front to back, level with this guy. And then when you're done with all that, which a lot of people usually go through and actually go through like a mobile home leveling when they go to level these guys, just to make sure it's good. But these guys do not have stabilizer jacks. These actually have with pretty much these hooks here, so that hurricane straps will be tied into the ground with them. Okay, so it does not have the stabilizer jacks. Next is going to be where your two 30-pound propane tanks are located. These guys have both been filled, minus what we use to test the propane system with. This guy here on the back side is going to be your regulator. Basically, this does a couple different things. One, it's telling you got propane flow when it's green. When it's red, it's telling you that tank is empty. This notch here will tell you what tank you're using. So generally, if you have both tanks on, when the one tank is empty, it will start pulling from the other tank, but you won't know it's pulling from the other tank unless you come out here and look at this guy, because it would be reading red, showing that it's trying to pull from the tank and it's empty. We always like to recommend just have one tank on at a time, so you know when one of the canisters is empty. Behind that's going to be where our battery is located, just a 24 series deep cycle marine RV style battery. Then down here in this back corner is going to be where your battery disconnect is located. Basically, when you're storing the camper or when you're not using this guy, you're just basically going to turn this key and pull this out, and it'll disconnect the camper from the battery, so if anything was left on, it wouldn't potentially drain the battery on you. And this is going to be your cover for your tanks here. Alright, as you come around the sides, our first one here we're going to be coming up to is going to be your first drain. This guy is going to be just your kitchen sink. So basically you'll have your sewer hose hooked up to this, and you just pull this handle to dump that tank. Next, you're going to have your furnace tank area. Pretty much you don't want to block this, and it tells you that, but you want it to be able to breathe. But we do like to recommend getting mud dauber screens to put over this. Looks like a couple of eyeballs. It keeps mud daubers and wasps from getting in there to create nests, because that can create issues when you try to use your furnace. Next, you're going to have your fresh water. So basically, if you're going to be using portable water, so you ain't hooked to a city water hookup, you just stick the hose in and let it fill. You don't want to read the monitor panel inside. For when it reads full, you want to shut that water off. Next is going to be your city water hookup. It is always recommended that you should have a pressure regulator on the water spigot. From there, your options of an inline water filter if you're going to put one in, and then your blue or white water drinking hose. From there, you're going to hook up to this, and you'll be ready to use the cold side, but you do have to wait for the hot water heater to fill up before water will start coming from the hot side, and then of course we got to heat that up. And I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. It's actually behind this guy right here. Inside here, you actually have a residential water heater. So basically, whenever you go to start filling, you want to make sure that this valve is in this position here where it's going to feed into the tank. And then it'll fill, and then once it's filled, it'll start coming out from the other side here for your hot water. What I always like to do is when I start filling the hot water, I'll go inside and actually open the hot water faucet. Okay, the reason why is because you're going to have air build up in that line, and as that water starts filling this guy, the air needs to be able to escape. So I just like to leave the hot faucet on, handle on. Once it's full, the water will start coming out of the faucet. From there, you'll be ready to turn this on. I'll show you inside where the switch is located for this guy. As you see, there's these other valve handles here. This is for whenever we go to winterize the coach in the wintertime. Basically, you will, this guy here, this would be the closed position. You're opening this up. This is going to drain your water tank. So we're going to go ahead and close that because it was open. But then you're going to turn these valve handles like this. So basically what happens when you go to winterize, your antifreeze is going to come through your water line, but instead of going into the water heater, it's It's going to bypass your water heater, come around, and then you're able to winterize the hot water line side. I'm going to go ahead and turn that back up because it's now summertime. And this is your pressure relief valve. If you want, whenever you want to relieve the pressure, you just pop this guy open and it will relieve pressure. Key for this guy is going to be the 751 for this and our outside shower right here. As you see, it's labeled low point drains. So underneath here, and they're kind of tucked underneath. So this is going to be that one for your water heater right there. Then we're going to have a blue and a red. Basically, those are your hot and cold. I always like to recommend when you're done camping, you should open these guys up and open a faucet, kind of help most of that water get out of the coach so water don't get left in there that can become stagnant or bad. But you'll use these guys when you go to winterize. You want to open this up, try to make sure you're getting all the water out of the system before you winterize. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll go ahead and start winterizing and see pink come out of these guys and then close them off. Well, we're also down here next is going to be pretty much what I like to say your main dump. The reason why I say it's your main dump is because you got your black handle for your toilet. And you're going to have this gray handle right here for your bathroom sink and shower. You should always do your black first. When you go to dump, you're going to have your sewer hose hooked up, pull your handle. From there, you would do your black tank flush, which that's going to be this guy right here. Do like to recommend a pressure regulator on the water spigot as well, because there is a plastic check valve on the back side of this that too strong water pressure can damage that check valve. But then I always also like to recommend go out and get yourself a black hose. Black tank, black hose, it keeps it simple. With that valve already open, you can then turn on your water and start doing your flush. That's what this caution sticker here is for. You want to make sure that that valve handle is open. If the tanks are already full, and you go ahead and hook up your hose and turn that water on to start doing your flush, and you ain't got none of this other stuff going, that water is going to end up coming out of one or two places, either the toilet or the vent stack on the roof. Both situations, it's going to be nasty and a mess, and we just don't want that. Once you're done doing your black tank flush, you're going to shut off the water at the spigot, unhook your hose from the spigot before you unhook it from here. Okay? Then after that, you would close this valve and then pull your gray to empty the gray. Right next to that's going to be where your dump is for the fresh water tank. So if you're using the portable water and not city water hookup, we're going to go ahead and close that because we had it open the drain. And then this guy right here next to that, as you see, there is no handle on it at all. This is basically your drain for the washer. So basically, whenever you're going to be washing something, you should have a sewer hose hooked up to this so that it just basically straight dumps. If this lid is on and you start doing your wash, it will backfeed back into the coach, basically up through that drain, and you don't want that.
Nobody wants that.
It'll make a mess. Next, you got your 50 amp power cord. It does come with the coach. When you go to lock these guys in, it always goes in at an angle. You'll make sure it's in there nice and firm and tight, and then it twists to lock in. And then you got this other secondary lock that threads on here to lock it in to help keep moisture and water out of there as well. As we come along, we're going to have your back storage. So at the back storage, you are going to have these nice little decorative caps that actually go on the tires. I did not put these on until usually it gets to its final destination. I have seen where those guys have kind of popped off, and we just don't want that to happen. All right, moving forward. As we come around, you're going to have your cable and satellite hook up here. Campground cable, or if you have a dome for satellite. We'll talk a little more about the campground cable once we have stepped inside. Then as we come around, you're going to have your door here. This door is going to be basically for the bedroom. All right, so for the deadbolt, basically the key will go in and the key turns to the left to lock your deadbolt, and you're unable to pull that key out. If you turn the key to the right and you're able to pull that key out, it'll show that you did not lock your deadbolt. And then your stairs are real nice and simple. They just pretty much just fold and fold. The fun's of metal on metal. And then you got your door holder right here to hold the door open for you. You do have two outside speakers. I'll show you how to turn those on and off on the side. This is where you can hook up, if you wanted to bring a TV outside, you could hook it up. And you got a 110 that's GFCI protected right there as well. As you see here, there is a notice to check the lug nuts on your tires, which realistically you're only going to do this one time because this is not really towable. But these guys should be torqued to, it says 100 foot-pounds. But it is recommended you should do that at 50, 100, and 200 miles. That's what that sticker's there for. But like I said, this is a destinational camper. It should not be getting pulled around. You do, though, want to try to make sure you keep the tires topped off to their max PSI level, or what the sticker says on the coach, which I believe is 80 PSI on those guys. All right. And then from there, we've made our way over here. So your sliding glass door is going to be the key that looks like a house key. Each key set, you have 2 key sets, come with each key on there. But then you do have a third emergency key that you could hide outside somewhere. So if for some reason you lost your guys' keys or someone got the keys locked inside somehow, you would still have a way to get inside the coach. And I'll show you that here in just a minute. Basically with this guy, we're just going to go ahead and slide this guy open. And we will step on in. So as you step in, basically you are going to have a fire extinguisher located right there. Then we are going to have our control panel right here. Pretty much to bring our slide out. And it is hydraulic. And the hydraulic is going to be on the off door side of the coach towards the front. And I do believe that they had it marked last time with an X on a different unit to show where the hydraulic system was at. So basically being on the hydraulic system, it's going to bring out all of the rooms, I believe including the bedroom. The bedroom should have been the first one, I believe. Only because of how long it took for these guys to start coming out. When you start to hear that wind down, that's when you want to stop. Alright, over here with the control panel, you got your battery status. It'll tell you the status of your fresh tank. Black 1, you do not have a black tank 2. And then you got your gray, which is the bathroom, sink, and shower. And then galley is going to be your kitchen sink. The water pump, only using the water pump if you're using the fresh water tank. If you're hooked to city water, you do not need that guy. You got lights, which I believe these were an outside light. Outside speakers to turn those on and off for the lights on the outside speakers. Your ceiling lights, and then those are controlled through this dimmer switch. If you want to have a nice little romantic evening, you just press and hold this. It'll dim the lights down. Turn on the fireplace, get you a nice little bear rug set out, and have a little romantic evening. We'll talk a little more about that here in a minute. Well, no, not necessarily. So like I said, it comes with the 2 sets of keys, and then it comes with the third emergency key. Inside here is going to be your owner's manuals for most of the appliances inside the coach. It does not hurt to read these guys. If you do not find a manual in here, they may went to online manuals only, because a lot of places are now starting to do that. For the manual for the coach itself, you would download an app, put in camper information, and it downloads a PDF file for this camper of basically everything for it. Come back to that in a second.
All right.
All right. So then we're going to have our dining room area here. You got your light. Dumb dummy. And she still turned them off. Okay. So our cleaner turned them off, but they are actually on a switch where you guys can leave these on all the time, and then you just turn them off by the switch. Next, we're going to have our recliner area here. If you notice, behind the recliner is actually where your screen door is located for the sliding glass door. These do not get installed until after the camper has been put in its final destinational spot. That's why it's still located back behind there. For the recliners, you got your handle ends here to where it would recline up for you guys. And inside here is going to be where our remotes are going to be located. So you got your TV remote. Let's go ahead and turn that guy on, get that rolling. Next is going to be the remote for the fireplace. I do have the air conditioners on, so I really don't want to try to turn this on. We just don't want to try to blow a breaker. But basically, you got your power setting. From there, your temperature setting of low or high. A timer from 30 minutes to 9 hours. You can change the color of the way the rocks look on it, and you can change the color of the flames. Nice, good, simple rundown on that guy. This guy here is going to be the remote for the radio. Push the power button, turn it on. Give it a minute, it'll say, welcome.
It's so friendly.
It is so friendly. So right now we have it, our inside speakers on, which is zone 1. And zone 2 is going to be those outside speakers. You can't have them both on if you wanted to. If you guys decide you're going to put a DVD player in here and you decide to tie the sound in through this, always make sure that the outside speakers are turned off whenever you're watching a movie. Okay, let's just, you guys are trying to spice up that night like I was saying earlier. Those outside speakers are on, you put a risque movie in, you're going to get some knocks at the door. Whether, hey, my kids are hearing funny noises, or hey, do you need an extra hand? But there are those kind of people out there. So just if you guys tie in your DVD player to the radio, just make sure that outside speaker's turned off. But basically, you can change channels, things like that, with this guy, or radio channels. All right, so then you got your Fire Smart TV here. I don't feel like talking over that guy. So basically, you can go down to recent, which we had it on there, but you can also choose inputs, antenna, HDMI 1, 2, 3, composite, and the media player, which with the media player, I believe you can put the USB drives we give you guys of this virtual in here and watch it off your TV, if I am not mistaken. Is that right, camera lady?
For which one?
For the USB flash drive.
Yes.
All right. So should be able to.
You should be able to plug it into one of the
media player,
probably,
which would be your USB hookup.
Yes, I believe so.
So we're gonna say that, but please don't quote us on that.
Yeah. If I'm wrong, I didn't say it.
But basically, you can choose antenna, and it'll automatically come on. You got it on channel 4.1. We're gonna make a deal. All right. So if you guys are not near the St. Louis area, you guys would have to scan for channels. Basically, to do so, you got the 3 lines here for settings. Channel guide, manage channels. I believe it's that one there. Nope, that was the wrong one. Go back there, that's not the right one. Did it completely wrong. I'm sorry, guys.
Was that your first one?
These Fire TVs, I'm not used to messing with these guys. You're gonna push the setting button there.
The wheel.
Let's see here.
And here, it
Daily.
that's
Alright. Let's do this correct. At the home, go into settings. Let's see, where's that? TV, and then scan channels.
Right. Scan for channels.
Sorry, I'm still trying to get used to these Fire TVs. My apology for the 5 minutes of delay there. Alright, you do also have a light switch here. It's going to be pretty much an ambiance light. I did forget to go over this guy basically. This guy here is basically like a hideaway bed. So you pull off your cushions, These legs here will come out. Then this will slide down. This guy gets flipped down here. Then most of the time, you can usually put the pillow cushions on the back side of it because of how the front's angled. It's not going to work very well because it's just going to fall right on through. But you can probably still sit them there if you want, just to try to give a little blocker so nobody would potentially roll back there while they were sleeping or something. All right. You're gonna have your pantry area. You have a trash can as well. They provide
Nice.
storage up above here. This light here you turn on by hand. We do got our center island here where you do have storage down below. On the sides. More storage there. You got your drawers here for your items. Then we're going to have the microwave. The microwave is pretty self-explanatory. The only thing we do like to say is set the timer. When you guys go out, you do something, see you come back and you see the time's not set on this. It means there was a power failure from the campsite. You do want to look and see if it was from the campsite itself or from the electric company. Bigger parks will have the tendency to have like power surges and things like that because there's so many campers trying to pull a draw. For your stove, I did turn the gas off. I didn't. So we'll see if we can get it to light. Basically, you're going to push it to the flame icon button there. You'll turn it. This is a spark igniter. And then basically, you're just going to hold this down till it would light. Once it's lit, you keep this pressed and held down for about 7 to 10 seconds and then set your temperature. For the oven's actually pretty nice. I set that to 0. So with this guy here, you're just going to turn it to that spark there, and it's going to automatically basically light on its own. And you'll basically, a nice indicator is that you'll hear that spark change, like how it's igniting right now. Once it's lit, it'll actually get a lot quieter. Once it is lit, keep it pressed and held in for 7 to 10 seconds, then set your temperature. Oh. Next, we're going to have our residential fridge. So you do have to be plugged into Sure Power for this to have power. You got different timer settings. I'll leave these foam blocks in here until you guys get to till it gets to its final destination, so these guys ain't just bouncing around. But you can set the temperature to what you would like. Have the freezer set at 0 and the fridge is set at 36. All you gotta do is just push it and you can turn it down. Ice Plus, so it'll make ice a lot quicker. It's got a door alarm on it, so it'll go off after it's been open for so long. Then your freezer is going to be down to low, where we did have some ice, but it looks like it has melted a little bit and then started to freeze again. But as you see, we do have some ice cubes in there. We're going to go ahead and pull that guy out and let it start thawing there. There is an on and off switch down here for the ice maker. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off now. At this time, we're going to leave that there. So we'll put that back in. You do have another switch right here. Just another ambiance lights. Down here in this cabinet down below, this is going to be where your shutoff valve is for the ice maker at the fridge. So basically, in the wintertime, you will go through a little more antifreeze because you do want to winterize that ice maker. But once it's been winterized, you're going to, I believe it is, pull that tab to put that in a bypass so water wouldn't potentially still go to that. But that does have to be winterized. You got some more storage up here as well. This switch here is going to be for your ceiling fan. Nice thing is that ceiling fan, as you see, there's 2 vents right above it, so it's helping circulating that cool air, blowing it down for us. And then our other 2 lights here, one is going to be for your island lights. And then your other one is for the ambiance lights above your slides. Down here is going to be where your LP and carbon monoxide detector is located. It is recommended this should be tested every 7 to 14 days. And to perform that test, all you simply do is push this button. And now we're going to be having that test should beep again. And go back to green. That's all that test took. That's that simple, okay? Now, if this guy starts going off, it could potentially be sensing propane or carbon monoxide in the coach. And if that's the case, you do want to take all emergency precautions. Basically, the first person coming out of the coach is going to be shutting off the propane tanks. The second person out is trying to get anything that breathes out of the coach. But you're also trying to open some windows. We're not trying to turn on any fans of any kind. We're not trying to create an electrical spark. Okay, right now we're taking the safety precautions. And then we're going to get 50 feet away for 15 minutes. After that 15-minute time frame, one person's going to come back in here, and I always like to recommend to tell them to check the stove first. A lot of times someone might push those knobs down on the stove and they might get churned or something like that. But usually most of the times the knobs are on the front, and you might have someone that's just leaning against knobs or something like that. If you come in, you see that's good, you turn it back on, it starts going off again. You do want to turn off your propane and have it serviced and looked at. Excuse me. Alright, now with that being said, there are other things that can cause this to go off, such as almost any kind of aerosol spray, hairsprays and or cleaners, animal gases, cleaners, and as I'm recently seeing, overabundance of perfume. So just please be mindful of that as well, okay? But always do be sure that you know what's going on in your coach if that does start going off. Alright, so next we're going to be stepping into the bathroom area here. So in the bathroom you got your sink, you got some storage down below there. This one's just so you can hide your soap, toothbrushes, things like that if you want. Your actual drawers here. You got 2 locks for when traveling. You got one on this side and you got one that's on the inside. Generally, you're in this one here, so that way you can easily step in and out of the shower. With this guy, it does have... you do have your reducer button here. Pretty much it reduces and stops the flow of water, so you can try to get a little more out of your hot water. But you guys do have a decently good sized water tank. But just be noted that the average American uses 38 gallons of just hot water when they take a shower. Okay, I don't think your water heater's that big. I think it's only a 20 gallon, I believe.
It's a 20 gallon.
All right, so you're already kind of outmatched in that scenario, so that button does help you. Unless you're really good at taking quick showers, then you're going to be superb. Basically, where's that guy? There it is. So whenever you go to unlock these, there's this piece here that would slide down so you can unlock it. And then from there, you're ready to just go ahead and pull it, close, and you're ready to take a shower. This guy here is going to be your GFCI. So if there's some outlets that ain't working, it's got the GFCI sticker. Come and see if this guy hasn't been tripped. Inside here, you're going to have storage in both areas. As you see, we got a switch up there. So that switch there is going to be the electric switch for your water heater. The reason why it's hiding in here is to make sure nobody turns it on before there's water in that, because you can burn up an element. So make sure there is water coming out of the hot side of that faucet before turning that guy on. You can do got another switch right here, basically for your fan to open and then turn it on. Basically, it's way up there through the vents. That's why it's on a motorized. You do have to have the fan on for the power to go to the vent to open and close it. Next, you have your toilet. So with the toilet, you would lightly press on your pedestal to add water so you can do your business. Press all the way down to flush. We do always like to try to recommend there should be some water in that toilet bowl, so that way that seal doesn't start to dry out and get brittle. When that happens, sometimes it might not start holding water in the toilet. When that happens, a nice simple fix that you can try is trying to put a little Vaseline on that seal, and usually that'll help hold that water better for you. But whenever you go to use the toilet, make sure you put a cleaning chemical in there when you first start to go using it. So basically, before you go to use this guy, you want to please put a gallon of water in there, and then you're going to use either the liquid or the pouches. If you're using the liquid, you can go 1, 2, or you can buy a 2-ounce shot glass to put in here and just store it somewhere in here, and you can feel like you're getting the toilet drunk by giving it a couple shots of cleaning chemical. Or if you're using the pouches, I do always recommend putting water in the bowl of the toilet. Put the pouch in there and see it dissolve. I have seen where there's certain off-brand pouches, you'll go to put it in there and then you go to dump and the thing just comes it just basically just comes out. The pouch didn't dissolve and the chemical didn't get into the tank like it was supposed to. So always just please be mindful of that. Alright. This guy here is going to be so that you can extend and retract your awning to bring it out. When you go to bring this guy out, you basically want to bring it out till that flap is vertical with the ground. We're going to see that flap here in just a second. See that guy right there? So see it's starting to be vertical with the ground. Now if you look right here to the side, it tells you pull down to adjust the pitch. So you can actually pull these down and create a pitch on it. These guys are meant to be as a shade protectant. And anytime that the camper is not being occupied, it is recommended you should be bringing your awning in. You never know when a strong gust of wind or a pop-up storm can come, but strong enough winds can cause damage to both the awning and the camper if you are not careful. So we are going to go ahead and bring that guy in, just because, well, we're in Missouri and you just never know what the weather's going to be.
Yes, it is storm season.
It was 88 degrees, a storm came through, and it was 64 within a matter of 20 minutes yesterday evening. And that's a true story. I was in my car on my way home from work yesterday, and it said it was 88 degrees.
And it was
And
gusty.
then I went to go get ice cream for my missus, and sure enough, my thermostat said in the car it was 64.
And there were lots of gusts of wind.
And there was lots of gusts of wind. This guy here is going to be your ceiling lights, basically for your hallway as well. Right here at the base of your steps is going to be your vacuum hookups. Inside your closet in the bedroom, we'll see that in just a minute. It's going to be your hose attachments. Nice thing though is if you sweep it all to a pile, you lift this guy and turn this on, it'll basically suck everything in there for you.
No more chasing that little line of dirt.
No more chasing that little line of dirt. And then basically when you step up here, you're going to have your bunk sides on each side. And each side does have its own light switch. Each side also has its own TV hookups located on the sides inside here. This is basically going to be your single side over here. This has got the double on this side. Each one does have 110 and USB hookups for charging. I'm going to go ahead and steal this from the camera lady so to give you guys a nice little visual view. That there is going to be a fire exit window. You got another one there on the other side. Right there on that wall is going to be where you're going to hook up your TV. You got closet space there. Here's where our other air conditioner is, which right now they'd probably be freezing because these vents are actually open. So I'm going to crawl up there and actually close them off. So it'll send it through the rest of the way.
One more fire exit window right there.
And there's another fire exit window right there. I'm going to have the camera lady maybe zoom around to show you that one real quick while I close these vents up here.
I can do that. So you can see there's more storage right
you guys
there.
Can get a nice little visual there of that.
There's your single. People up here have a nice view of the downstairs, or they can close it off with the curtain. And there's the other vent he was talking about.
All right.
And we're back to him.
Back. How you doing?
Hey, he's good.
All right.
I'm gonna try to back down the stairs without dying.
Yes, please be careful.
My middle name is not Grace.
My middle name is no longer Spring Chicken, although I may look like one. Thank you.
do.
All right, as we come into the bedroom, inside our bedroom area here, gotta step inside because behind our door is going to be our light switch, and then our thermostat for the air conditioner up there. I didn't show you guys the other thermostat. When we go back to our door, I'll show you that real quick. Basically, with this one, Let's see here. So you're going to start in the off position. Give it a second to let it do its thing so I don't move too fast for the system, because I've done that several times. Pretty much you push it first time, it lights it up. From there you got fan low, fan high. That's just going to be the fan on the air conditioner. Then you got cool high and cool low. In these two settings here, the air conditioner is just going to continuously run and will not shut off. Then you got cool low auto and cool high auto. From there, it will shut off to the desired set temperature, which I had it set at 40. Let's go ahead and turn that guy up.
Probably a good idea.
We're going to turn that guy up to about 60, 69. All right. Inside here is where you would install a washer, dryer hookups if you wanted to. They're right there. Up top there is going to be where your hoses are for the vacuum cleaner. You do got more closet space here and shelves down below here. But there is a sticker right here that says, for winterizing your coach. So basically when you go to winterize, you're going to pull this drawer out. So there's little clips here on the side. One goes downward. The other side would push upward. But you're going to try to pull this guy out. It's not easy because this guy's in the way. But back behind here is where your water pump's going to be. Where there's a valve that it will churn. From there, there's a hose that goes into your gallon jugs of antifreeze. Basically what that valve's doing is choosing whether, hey, I'm pulling water from the water tank or I'm pulling water from that hose for the antifreeze. And then from there, you'll turn on the water pump and you'll winterize your coach through there. Always start with the hot side first, the furthest from the pump. So you're going to start in the kitchen and start winterizing from there. And don't forget the outside. Everyone always seems to forget the outside shower. So always just be mindful of that. You got your bed. You got your USB and 110 hook up there. You got individual rear light. You got a main light. More storage up above. I believe this guy had storage underneath as well. Yep, there it is. And as you see, there's our cap, so that compartment does come to this here. This guy here is also going to be another fire exit window. So this guy here, you just basically lift these handles, and this is on a hinge. All the fire exits are on a hinge, so it can swing open so you can get out. Okay?
We do recommend jumping feet first.
Do recommend feet first. Unless you're a good tumbler, then by all means go head first. Then you got your drawers here for clothes as well. Down below here is going to be where your fuse panel box is located. So basically anything that runs off 110, so you have to be plugged into your Sure Power, is going to be on your breakers, and they do have it all labeled for you. And then everything that runs off your battery is going to be on the fuses. And once again, it's all labeled for you. So a lot of people think when they're plugged into Sure Power, oh, I don't need a battery. You still got to have a battery, okay? Because there are certain things that just run off a battery. Even though you're plugged in, when you're plugged in, there's a converter that's charging that battery for you. So that way things like your lights is going to work. The fan on the air conditioners, those are 12 volt, but the air conditioner itself is a 110. I know that sounds a little confusing, but I assure you. So just please be mindful of that. I've seen it on numerous occasions, people having really bad batteries, and they're like, oh, or they've never had a battery on their camper. So just be mindful of that. Right here is going to be where our TV antenna booster is located. We talked about that a little bit outside. So right now it's in the on position, so that's why we had TV signal. If this was off, like it is now, we would probably have poor radio signal and TV signal. But when you're going to be using the campground cable, you would tie into that port outside. You're going to tie into this, and then you have to go into your settings, and you change between antenna and cable, and then scan for channels. And then the up top one's going to be for the satellite hookup. Right here, you're able to lock your deadbolt from the inside. That's what that guy's for. All right, and then we're going to step back up front here. Basically, we have made our way around the coach. But like I said, I'm going to swing right over here because I did not show you guys your other thermostat right here. So basically with this thermostat, it's going to do the same options as the one in the back. But the last option it's going to give you, because right now we're in the cool high auto, after that is going to be heat electric and heat gas. So with the electric, it's basically like it's got a heat pump and on there, and it brings cooler air in and warms it up for you from the outside. Generally though, once temperatures usually get below a certain temperature, that's going to struggle to actually warm the cool air up before it's coming inside the coach. So usually once it gets below 30, probably 38 degrees, I'd honestly recommend the heat on gas because it's also help heating the underbelly, keeping your tanks and stuff from like that freezing. All right, so from there, we have made our way around. Hopefully this video was knowledgeable and informational for you guys. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to call us, and we do our best to answer those questions for you over the phone. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.